All right, hey guys, yeah, it's my birthday today, so March 16, and tomorrow's March 17, which means I could get drunk even more. But I'm not drunk now. In fact, I'm only drinking Yoo-Hoo. I went to a Walmart earlier and I just saw this. I'm like, you know what? Even though I'm an old man, I need some Yoo-Hoo. Yoo-Hoo's great, to be honest. All right, so we're gonna talk about my experience at GameStop, my GameStop story. And I do have a script on the side just in case, so I can remember all the events. But where to start? When I started, I think it was the year 2000. Shit, I totally forgot now. 2015, I believe, because I got hired right after the Batman Arkham Knight release, because I was there for the midnight with my best friend. I didn't even want the game. My best friend did. And the funny thing about that is that he won a contest where he won some super cool looking diorama of Batman and the Joker, and there's like 5 people over there, so he won. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Right after that, I started working at GameStop. I got hired as a SGA, which is a senior game advisor, if those of you that don't know. And that the ranking system, in case for you guys who don't know, is that seasonal game advisor are kind of the same thing, except that seasonal is there temporarily because they're seasonals. But if you're seasonal, you're a game advisor, and game advisor is the lowest rank. What you do is mostly sell the games and systems to customers. You help them out, take phone calls, deal with the cash registers, just like a normal cashier job. And then above that is a senior game advisor. So you do everything that a game advisor does, except that you open or close the store. You really take care of the money because you have to make the deposits every night, set them up so you can set it up to the bank. You're in charge of all the money in the cash register and in the safe. And whatever a game advisor can't do, you have to do. And senior game advisors have the keys, so they have to open up all the drawers. They're the only ones who could go into the system rooms and the back rooms and the office and all that stuff. Game advisors and seasonals aren't really supposed to be in the back because of theft and other reasons, because game advisors and seasonals are hired constantly, so that's why they're worried that, okay, this guy we just hired today, he might steal from us. So yeah, that's why they're usually not supposed to be in the back. If they are in the back, someone has to monitor them just to make sure. But senior game advisors, you don't really have to monitor them because they're supposed to be like the bosses. And then above senior game advisor, you have the assistant store leader. That's the thing. I hate the term store leader. Store manager, I'm okay with. Store leader? Really? I understand what they're trying to do with that. They're trying to make it seem even more important because manager kind of sounds mundane, but I'm kind of old school. If I hear manager, I understand it. Leader? Sounds stupid. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's assistant store leader, and then store leader, and then the district manager, regional manager, and who else? No one really cares, to be honest. But yeah, usually it's these four ranks in the store. So I was hired as a seasonal game advisor. I actually wanted to be an assistant store leader because I got laid off from my previous job, which was a manager at a Pizza Hut. I was originally supposed to own that restaurant, but they shut it down because it's weird, because originally they say that, oh, it's because of poor sales, but that's not really the case. We did good in sales. And if we're talking about expectations, it's not much better than expected, but we still did good. The problem is that we were supposed to get a new building. It's a very old, crappy restaurant. Everything had grime. Even if you try cleaning it off, we have to fix a lot of shit. We have to replace a lot of shit. But apparently it cost too much, so they had to destroy that pizza, which sucked. I was about to get my own restaurant and can't get anything. And they're like, oh, we could give you a position as a lower level at a different restaurant. I'm like, fuck that. No, that's not right. So I wanted to do assistant store leader at GameStop closer to my hometown, but at that time they say they just gave that position away. So I was like, oh, okay, no problem. But the district leader I met at the time, he told me, oh, don't worry. Where you used to work at the Pizza Hut in this town, so the GameStop is very close to that. So you know what? They need store um, senior game advisors, and you could fill in for that position, and hopefully you're good enough to be an assistant store leader or store leader. So I was like, okay, sure, no problem. So I got hired, and the store leader at the time, she was very nice. Oh, here's the thing. Because I know some people still working at GameStop, I'm not going to mention any place, any names of people, just in case. I don't want anyone to get in trouble, because there are some GameStop horror stories. Okay, so, and you know what? Even though I'm pretty sure no one's gonna watch this anyway, but who knows? One of you is like, oh, I know where this guy works. I gotta talk about everyone about this guy. So, she was very nice. I really liked her, and actually, she's one of the few female store leaders, so I'm actually happy that I get to work under a female store leader. Does that sound sexist? Maybe it is, I'm sorry, but seriously, almost every single person I worked under in retail and restaurants have been mostly males. So the fact that there's a female store manager, I'm happy about that, because it's pretty much a sausage fest. But she was very nice. She's pretty, to be honest. But yeah, she was very nice. And the problem with this is that not with her, it's mostly with me. I did not fully believe in the GameStop circle of life. I mean, I didn't really like it during the entire time I was working there for almost 4 years, but at first I didn't really believe in it. That's the thing. GameStop really cares a lot about pre-owned games and systems, trades, and pre-orders are important too, because they lead to new games, which you could trade them in, and people can buy the pre-owned and all that stuff, and the pro memberships. I wasn't really pushing that, because at the time, my mindset is, people can want to trade, fine, but they want new games. Games that are under shrink wrap. Games that no one else touched. No one has grubby fingerprints on it. So at the time at the time I didn't think that the pre-owned games are really that cheap compared to the new ones. But so because of that, I was almost fired because my performance was horrible. And I admit it, I agree, because I was pushing new shit, new games, new controllers, new systems. I barely mentioned pre-owned. If there were trades, I was okay with that. If there were pre-orders, I was okay with that. But everything that involves profit for GameStop, I was really against. So she was gonna fire me. And when she told me that, she told me I have to change my act. I did. By basically not giving a shit at all about people's feelings and stuff, kinda. So I basically became a robot. So, like a used car salesman, to be honest. It's just a job. So that's why I was, telling people about, you gotta get GPGs, you gotta get PRPs, you gotta get the pre-owned games and pre-owned systems, because you do save money. Kind of like that. So after a while, I do believe in it, but that doesn't mean I like it, though. But there are some things I do like about the Circle of Life. But yeah, at the time, the Circle of Life shit was really, really annoying, because I know every single store has goals in life, in all retail, in everything, even restaurants. They have to think about goals, because they have to make profit, they have to make money. That way people can still have their jobs and all that stuff. I get that. But it feels like GameStop goals are really strict and annoying. Because it depends on each store, but usually from the stores I worked at, pre-orders have to be 5 to 10%. Trade is 25%. Let's see, GPGs GPGs is 25%. PRPs is 50%. Pre-owned is 25% as well, 25 to 35% depending. and trades are 25%. I don't know. The numbers do change throughout times, and I haven't been there in a while, so maybe the numbers did get better or worse. I don't know. But that's how it usually was, and that's the problem. You have to hit all the goals. Even if you have weaknesses in some of them, they're like, no, you have to hit all of them. These are the minimum requirements. And that's the problem, because that's way too many goals that you have to focus on. Yeah, I understand. Some stores have it a lot easier because they deal with a lot of customers. But from some of the stores I worked at, you have to make each customer count, especially if you have to work towards these stupid goals. And that's the thing. If you guys don't know, GPGs, PRPs, they are warranties for games and systems. GPG is gameplay guaranteed, and PRP is protection. I totally forgot. But that's for systems. GPGs, depending on the price of the game, range from $1 to $3, which, if you think about it, it doesn't really cost that much. But that's the thing. You're coming in to buy a new game, $60. Then you have to worry about the tax. Depending on which state. I'm in New York State, so the game with the tax is about $64.57, something like around there. Then you have to persuade the person to spend another $3 on the game, plus tax for that $3. So you're spending about $68 on a game. How does that make anyone feel good? Now, the GPGs, I do understand that they are helpful. Accidents do happen. It happened to me before I worked at GameStop when I bought Deus Ex Human Revolution. My brother, he's autistic. He accidentally banged my Xbox 360 and it fell to the ground while I was playing Deus Ex Human Revolution at the time. The machine was fine, but the disc cracked. I don't know how exactly that happened, but the machine bam, and it cracked. I didn't have a GPG. The game was still $60 at the time. There was not even a pre-owned copy at the time. Because of that, and I was so close to finishing the game too. I was 1 hour away. I just gave in and bought a new copy because I didn't have a GPG. That's the stupid version of me. I spent $120 on one game. So I'm an idiot for that. I am. But that happened to me. Spending an extra $3 just to, so you don't have to pay another $60 game just in case if your game doesn't work within a year. It's not a bad deal. It's honestly not. It just sounds expensive when you're telling people about this up front, and I get that. To be honest, I prefer it if the GPG is just like an extra $1. $3 just seems a bit excessive. Again, it depends. If you're rich and you can afford it, no problem. But that's also the thing too, because if you're rich, you probably don't even care about the GPG. If you really love the game and it broke, you probably buy another one. So you're thinking, okay, so we market it towards the middle class and poor people then for the warranties. But the thing is, the poor people don't want to buy warranties because it just seems like excess money. Sure, accidents can happen, but they really believe that it's not going to happen. Except for the people who bought sports games, because they're always worried, especially the NBA 2K customers. They spend so much time and money on the stupid, what's it called? The NBA 2K points, the whatever they're called. They spend so much time and money on that. And you know what? I'm sorry if I said that they're stupid, because there are people here who really love those games and actually love making the NBA 2K Legend or whatever it's called, the My Player. So if you're one of those people and you love it and you love spending money to upgrade the characters, that's fine. From my standpoint, I feel like that's just an incredibly waste of money because you don't carry those characters over to the next game. And you have to start it over and over and over again. I feel like that's just a waste. It would be nice if NBA 2K just lets you keep your character that you created and just let him progress through each and every game. I felt like that would have been better. I know some people would say, well, that wouldn't be fair because probably this guy had an NBA 2K My Player for about 5 years. He's super powerful. then let there be like restrictions on that then. I mean, it's 2K. They could do whatever the hell they want. They could have some fun. Like, oh, these guys are super overpowered leveled. Then let them play with other super overpowered players. Yeah, that doesn't sound so difficult. So I don't understand why people don't think that. Instead, they're like, okay, we're making a clean slate with every single sports game. I think that's just stupid. But anyway, if you like spending your money on the 2K points, you know what? There you go. But yeah, so those people like to put GPGs on because they're worried that if they break the game, they have to buy a new one, but they'd rather spend the money on the 2K points, so that's why they bought the GPG. So yeah, so that's the thing. GPGs, PRPs are 100% profit for the GameStop. So like I said, GPGs range from $1 to $3, $3 max, and that's for games that are about $60. So that's an average price of a game. PRPs, they system warranties, they range from $5 for the cheapest system, I believe, all the way up to 30 or 40 or 50. I totally forgot. They're around that area. And then there's the 2-year warranty, which is double that. Well, almost double. They give you a slight discount. So that's 100% profit. Then we get into the selling the used games and systems. That's 50% profit. So every time we sell a used game or a used system, we get 50% profit. So those are the biggest profit boosters for GameStop. Selling new games, I know it's important for the... It is important anyway, because you have to sell new games in order for people to trade them in so people can buy the used games. But they don't really get shit. It's very minimal for profit, maybe 1 to 5% depending. They don't make jack shit on systems as well. So that's why we have no choice but to push GPGs and PRPs with every single customer. We have no choice. And trades, we need trades because that's what GameStop is known for, trades. So if people don't trade, then we're nothing but an ordinary store. People could go to Amazon or Walmart then, or even buy games online or digitally if we don't get trades. So that's why trades is very important as well. And it is good that people can trade in used cell phones as well. But the thing about the used cell phone is... people often bring in cracked phones, which is really, really annoying. If the phone is cracked, there's really no issue with that. There's a set price right there. But the problem is the stupid people trying to trade it in think it's for full value. I'm like, no, you have a crack on your phone. You have a scratch on your phone. No one will want to buy it like it was new. Okay? It's and also... my main gripe with people trying to trade in anything, they don't clean shit. They do not clean shit. A couple of fingerprints on the disc, fine. But if you put like grime or food oils or pizza sauce or whatever, and you expect me to give you full value for that shit, hell no. That's either going in the garbage or it's defected. I can't give you full price for that because that is such bullshit. If you spent the time just reorganizing these games, making it clean, making it presentable, then you would get full value. I am so sick of these assholes who don't spend time just organizing shit. They're like, oh, I can trade this in at GameStop. I'll just put everything in here. You know, game discs that are, out of order and all that stuff. Oh, okay, I'll bring it in. And that's the problem too, especially with the Xbox 360 games. Some of them have multiple discs. That has to be in there. So many people tried to trade in Max Payne Disc 2. And I was like, where's Disc 1? They're like, they don't make a Disc 1. You're giving me Disc 2. What the fuck are you thinking? Oh, God. I hate those people. I am sorry. Oh, man. So that's my main gripe with trades because people are stupid. Listen, I understand if you don't agree with the prices. I understand that. You're upset that you're trying to trade in a Madden game and you can only get $1. I understand that. But you know what? I keep warning people so many times. Sports games depreciate in value so much because that's the first thing people would trade in. Seriously. Red Dead Redemption 2, I believe, has higher trade value than the Madden 2019. Isn't that upsetting? Because that's the problem. Sports games tend to be traded very early and very quickly. So yeah, if you trade that game in within the first month, you usually get about $30 worth of trade credit, which, if you think about it, kind of sucks because you paid $60 for a game and you're getting $30 trade credit for a game that you didn't even play for a month. I do understand that opinion, but you're at fault though, because if you hated the game so much, then why the fuck? It's a double-edged sword, because if you're excited for a game, then you realize it sucks and you really wanted to trade it in, but you realize you can't get your full money back. That's a bummer. But you know what? Here's the thing. I like to help people throughout loopholes. Okay? So the policy is, if it's a brand new game, sealed, you could bring it back along with the receipt. You need the receipt. You could bring it back within a week to get your money back. If it's still within 30 days, store credit. Past that, you're fucked. That's usually how it is the stores I worked at. And pre-owned. If you pre-owned is usually open anyway. So if you get a pre-owned game, again, 1 week to get your money back, 30 days store credit. And past that, you're fucked. But that's the problem, though. People usually play the game, they open it, and try to return it. And here's the thing. You cannot return a brand new game for that price. Which is why I usually tell people, is this game broken? Does this game not work? Some people get the hint. Because if it's broken, like, even if you lie to me and tell me that it's broken, I could return it and exchange it for something else. Not a lot of people think about this. Because, listen, it's our job. We have to sell these games. We have to, we can't just keep telling people, yeah, just return it, just return it, just return it. No, that's why I keep, in order to keep my job at GameStop, at least I tell people, is the game broken? Does it not work? Is it not functional? You know how many people don't get the hint and they just tell me, oh no, it works fine. Just lie. Just tell me it doesn't work. Then I'll be like, okay, I have no choice. Here's your money back. Especially if it's a new game that you just bought and just don't like within that week. It would have been fine. And there were a couple of people there were a bunch of people I keep giving this hint out, and they don't really think about it. There's this one customer. I wouldn't even call him a customer anyway. He's a fucking douche. It always has to be a Madden game, huh? So he bought a Madden game, and he was really disappointed in it. And he said he wants to return it. I say, because by returning, do you mean trading in? He said yes at the time. So I was like, okay, so if you would like to trade it in, all you're getting is $27.50 worth of trade credit. And but before I did tell him, so is the game broken? The game doesn't work? He told me no, the game works fine. I was like, okay then. So if you're gonna trade it in, then you only get $27.50 for trade credit. Because at the time the Madden game was still $60. And so he was really upset with me because he thinks I'm fucking around with him. And I asked him again, are you sure this game is not broken? Is it broken? And he keeps telling me, no, it worked fine. Why do you keep asking me that? I was like, is it broken? Because if it's broken, I can return it. He said, no, it works fine. I was like, okay, so the value of it is $27.50. How much of it is in cash? $22.50. He said, I want to punch you in your face. I was like, why? Because you think this is all a joke. I'm like, no, to be honest, I just want this matter to be over with. I'm trying to help you out here. So he was very angry and left. And he did leave an angry review about the Asian guy. You know what? That that's the thing. I had a name tag and people just call me the Asian guy. I expect that. I mean, no matter where I go, I'll be known as that Asian guy because you don't think about names. And you know what? I understand that people don't remember names, but really, that Asian guy. Oh, man. So, what was I talking about? I was talking about how important it is to do the whole circle of life thing, right? See, that's why I have to stick with the script. I think I've been off topic. How long has it been? About 32 minutes? No, that doesn't seem right. I think minus 5 minutes, to be honest, right? Because I had to set it up. So, yeah, so we have to focus so much on the goals. And the problem is, if you're doing bad in one goal, you usually have to deal with the higher-ups and stuff like that. And it gets annoying after a while. And the thing is... but that was back then. At the time, they were very strict. Usually, they're weekly goals. So you're like, okay, I may have one bad day. I could make it up the next day. Which is, the thing is that Sunday is the first day of the week, of the work week. And the final day would be Saturday. So, if you do incredibly well on Sunday, usually that means that the rest of the days would be fine. Depending on where you work, especially what state, Sunday could be either incredibly dead or incredibly busy. It depends on where you work, the location, the weather, of course, and the seasons and all that stuff. So all that is an important factor because if it's hot out, people like to go outside and people like to spend more money and go to inside GameStop. But if it's like January, like winter time, there's a little snow outside, usually Sunday's incredibly dead. So, if you do incredibly well on Sunday, like, not just hit the daily goals, but, also a bunch of, averages and stuff, then you're, usually set for the week. Which is why I kept hoping that Sunday would have been a launch day, but no, launches are usually Tuesday, sometimes Fridays, for games and, gaming systems. So, and that's the thing too, we always have to worry about launches. And the thing about GameStop is, for the almost 4 years I worked over there, pre-order goals are kind of hard to get because they increase it way too much. I remember Call of Duty Black Ops 3, the goal for some reason is like 1,200 or something like that at one point. That was fucking ridiculous. We have to sell 1,200 copies in the store I work at, and not a lot of people pre-ordered that, to be honest. I think pre-orders, we actually got maybe half. So when you think about it, 500 copies on during the launch weekend is not a bad pre-order goal. But no, we have to... They set it up way too much. Wait, no, probably it's not 1,200. Maybe it was, the goal was 500 and it was very hard to get. I don't know. But I remember it was incredibly hard to get because they tripled the goal compared to a regular Call of Duty, especially for Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Infinite Warfare was even worse. Oh, God. So for a lot of these big games, they set pre-order goals so fucking high that it's just annoying. And also, they always tell us to roll over old pre-orders, like call people up just to make sure that their pre-orders can get moved to the hottest new titles. And it's annoying to call people. Here's the problem with the whole fucking GameStop system, okay? So, there are... Well, in history, there were 3 different memberships, but now there's still 2. Basic membership and Pro membership. There was an Elite Pro membership, but it got discontinued. And I thought that was a great membership, but I'll get to that one. So, basic membership, Pro membership. Basic membership is free. You could get points with almost anything you buy. You just don't get points for buying gift cards or memberships or something like that. But if you buy games and systems, accessories, and toys, yeah, you get points for that. You get the minimum amount. But there's really no bonuses to it because it's free. The Pro membership is $15 per year. And what you get with it is the discount, bigger discount on pre-owned games, at least 4 times a year. Did I do 3? Sorry, at least 4 times a year. I can't count. Oh no, I'm old. 4 times a year, there's a sale called Pro Day sale. So that's when a lot of the new games, a lot of the new titles are discounted. So if you wanted to get Grand Theft Auto 5 at the time, which usually cost $60, but it's now $30, and it's only $30 if you have a pro membership, it's a great deal, to be honest. Then again, a lot of people have Grand Theft Auto 5 at this point, and I don't think people are playing it as much as before, so I don't know about that. But Grand Theft Auto 5 keeps going up and down in prices anyway. 1 week it's 60, 1 week it's 30, who knows. But yeah, games like that. What else? And you get the Game Informer magazine, which free Gaming Informer magazine per month. And you get certain free coupons, certain free deals on the app and all that stuff, and sweepstakes and all that stuff. So the thing about the pro membership, if you buy from GameStop a lot, it's worth it. It is. If you really think about it, it's worth it. I know a lot of people think, oh, I don't buy used games, so why should I care about discounts on pre-owned games and systems? I'm not buying that. But you still get more points by buying new games as well, especially if you pre-order the game under that membership and then pick up the game during that week. You get bonus points for that, usually. And with those points, you could get points faster, and you can redeem coupons faster compared to the basic membership. But here's the problem. I told you about the Circle of Life. Everything about the Circle of Life revolves around the pro membership. So in the center, you have the pro membership. Outside of it, you have pre-owned. You have to pre-order games. So once you pre-order the game, then you buy the new game. And once you buy the new game, you play the new game, and then you trade the new game. And that new game becomes a used game, and that we keep in our system so we can sell it to customers, which means it's a pre-owned game or a pre-owned system. Then we sell it to customers, and those customers can trade that in and pre-order new shit, and it's the Circle of Life. But everything revolves around the pro membership. So our goal for the pro membership usually is, I think, a minimum 10% all the way up to 20%. Usually. It depends on where you work. The pro membership. If you, let's say we start on a Sunday, the first day, all the numbers are reset, all the goals are reset. If your first customer gets a pro membership, like you made them buy a pro membership, your pro member percentage is now 100%. That first customer just gave you 100% pro membership goal. Perfect. Next customer is a basic member or a non-member. If they do not upgrade to a pro membership or buy a pro membership, after that transaction, that pro membership goal becomes 50%. Yeah, that's annoying. But here's the catch. If the third customer already has a pro membership, but nothing has changed, they don't get another year of the pro membership, it stays at 50%. So yes, at whatever number you have, if you deal with pro members and they don't upgrade or if they don't get a renew or anything like that, then the percentage just stays frozen. It decreases every time you deal with a basic member or a non-member customer. Every time. So, think about this. Let's say the fourth person now buys a game, doesn't want to get a pro membership. Fine. Then it decreases down to, let's see, not 25%, if the math makes sense. 33%, I think, because you're dealing with that. So let's just say it's like 33%. I'm sorry, my math could be wrong, because I don't think it would be 25%. That would be, would it be half of it? Let's 25%, 33%. I'm sorry, but it decreases anyway. So here's the problem. Let's say that that basic member or the non-basic member, non-member customer buys something, and you finish the transaction, the pro percentage becomes less. If that same person buys another thing right after that, that pro percentage will get decrease even more. You dealt with the same customer, but doesn't matter because they treat it like two separate transactions with a non-pro member. That is fucking ridiculous. You could get screwed over in the first hour. Let's say if there's 30 people there and none of them buy pro memberships. If you do get a pro membership, your percentage is very minuscule. Very mini, very tiny. So, that's why it's fucking ridiculous with that. And because of that, some terrible, terrible employees, again, I'm not mentioning names, some terrible employees pick and choose their customers. So they look on the tablet first to see if they have a membership. And if the customer does have a membership, they check to see if it's an active pro member account. So if it turns out it's expired and they ask them, do you want to renew, and they don't want to, they usually pass it off to someone else. That's the bad employees, okay? Think about that. That people are so desperate that they have to pick and choose customers just to, so their numbers stay high. That's fucking ridiculous. The good news is that the stores I worked at, we help each other. Every employee helps each other because we don't get commission. So there's no competition between that. It's just an hourly salary. So because of that, we help each other. If one of us is doing good in pro memberships, they're like, oh, I know this customer who wants to buy a pro. Here, you take care of this person. So your numbers would be higher. Yeah, we often help each other out because every single time we check up our goals and we're like, okay, you're lacking in pre-orders, so if I get a pre-order, I'll give it to you. You're lacking in trades, okay, the next person who is going to trade, I'll give them to you. Oh, this person wants to renew their pro membership, I'll give it to you. That's what I love about the GameStop employees I work with. We actually help each other out because we don't want the higher ups to come in and give us a beating just because one of us didn't make the numbers or we're lacking in some numbers. So that's what I like. The brotherhood, the sisterhood, we're actually connected. We actually like to help each other out. But again, like I said, some bad employees would do that shit. Now, I know what you're saying. Aren't you basically picking and choosing with the way you're doing? Kinda, yes, but it's for both benefits. We still want to help the customer, but we also want to help the employee who is lacking in numbers. So when you think about it, it's a good picking and choosing. It's just that some of the bad employees just like, oh no, this asshole's gonna ruin my numbers. Here, you take him. Just so you could suffer. Stuff like that. It's horrible. So yeah, that's some of the bullshit about the Circle of Life. I know they're less strict now. They were really strict back then. And thank God for social media because there were so many newspaper articles talking shit about the GameStop Circle of Life and about employees fearing for their jobs. I'm glad for that article because GameStop actually lightened up after that, which is a great thing. They didn't lighten up too much, but they did lighten up. So that was good. So all they care about is that you hit the majority of your goals and making sure you're getting enough profit for the store and beating net sales. That's all everyone cares about. Not like, oh, your store is doing bad in pre-orders. You got to figure out why you're doing bad in pre-orders. Not like that. So, and also it depends on the district leaders you work with as well. So that's that. Listen, the jobs I worked at are in New York State. And I worked in 4 stores altogether in my history. So after the first store, I worked at the store in my hometown. It closed down, unfortunately, which is sad because it just became a prestige store. If you don't know what that is, a prestige store is like a higher level of GameStop store, which that they get like, it's called a 50-50 store where it's 50% GameStop items and 50% ThinkGeek items. So they get more exclusive stuff in that store compared to all the other GameStops. So it finally became a prestige store. I'm so happy in my hometown. It got shut down like a month or 2 after. Apparently it didn't make enough money. So I'm like, why the fuck did you make it a prestige store if you're gonna fucking get rid of it? Oh my god. And it's funny because they got rid of that store after I got moved to another store. And yeah, I feel bad because my friend who finally became a manager of a store was only manager for a couple months. And then when he got transferred, he was an assistant manager again. I was like, oh my God, that's so god awful. And it sucks for him too because he was a manager, he finally gets to go to the GameStop conferences. He couldn't go because he got a demotion. It wasn't even his fault. They just didn't need another manager at another store at the time because they couldn't move people around, which sucks. He worked his ass off, and it's not his fault that the store didn't make enough money. He was only there for a couple months. It wasn't his fault. If anything, it's the history of the store leader's fault up to that point. Oh man, that sucked. But yeah, I was glad that it was in my hometown because I actually get to walk there instead of drive. Me, even though I have a car, I don't like driving that much. I'm more of a walker. Walking just seems more free. It just relieves stress for me because I hate traffic. I hate waiting in traffic, waiting long lines, waiting for the stupid traffic lights and all that shit. I don't like it. And also it gets me paranoid because I don't like other cars, especially bad drivers. I don't like trucks. I'm worried about accidents. So yeah, I don't like driving as much. So, I worked at that store, and then before it got shut down, I got transferred to another store, and that's when I finally became an assistant store leader. And I liked it. I did. It just seemed a lot more stressful than what I was used to. A lot more responsibilities, because technically you're a store leader. You're just a lower rank, which kind of sucked because the pay, to be honest, isn't really that good. $14 an hour. For being an assistant store leader. Some of you are saying, oh, you are a fucking selfish piece of shit. $14 an hour? I wish I could have gotten that. I wish I could have gotten that. And I understand that too. But to be honest, for the amount of work you have to do, doesn't seem like a lot. There are some benefits, but again, there's really not a lot. So after that, I've been at that... I was given an opportunity to work at a store closer to my hometown and become a manager there. So I had an opportunity to become a store leader, and I was happy about it. I heard that I had some problems, but I was like, you know what? I'll give it my best shot. If I could actually lead the store, I get a higher pay and actual bonuses, I would have been happy. So I tried it. I gave up after a week. 1 week. And here's the thing. You could argue that I'm just not cut out for store leader material, and I get that. But that store was a fucking hellhole. It was god-awful. Listen, the store leader who quit right before I was assigned to that store, I understood where he was coming from. That store drove me crazy in a day. 24 hours, that's how long it took me to become insane like Jack Nicholson from The Shining. I wanted to chop people in half with a fucking axe. That's how god-awful it was. Oh my god, I hated every second, every millisecond of that place. The lighting sucks, it's dark, I could barely see the sun when I had to work a double over there. Oh my god. It's just awful. The customers are awful too. They are terrible people living around there. My god, I couldn't even handle it. They hated me so much. I hated them so much. The workers are mostly okay. The assistant manager over there at the time, I liked her. She was good, and she had an autistic son as well, so that's why I feel for her. So, yeah, I tried it out. I hated it. Bad things keep happening. And that's the thing. I want to blame the store leader that was taking care of the store before I got there because he did a horrible job, but he admitted it at least because he admitted that he did a terrible job because that job was incredibly stressful because it was a prestige store. But that location does not have good space. It's small. It's really fucking small. I couldn't believe it at the time when I heard how bad the spacing is. Because when you think about it, when you see up front, it doesn't look that bad. But then you go to the back. Boxes everywhere of items that cannot be on the floor because there's no space in the floor for them. There's a giant Snorlax beanbag that's ripped, spilling out beans. Couldn't be sold because of that. We couldn't even ship it out, even though it's defected. That's how bad it is. It keeps blocking the fucking door every time. And not just that, used systems are all over the place. Some of them are not even in the respectful boxes. They don't even have the actual serial numbers or the barcodes and stuff on them, so I don't even know if they were defected or not. And then I get to the defective items. I was trying to send defectives out at one point because I saw on the system that I have to send them out. They're like, oh, David, your task on Thursday is to send out every single defective you have. I was like, fine, sure, it doesn't seem that horrible. They had, at the time, about 350 defective items. Most of those are systems. And they're missing. I had about 15 missing Xbox Ones. This was day 2 of my work. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait. So, how the fuck am I supposed to find these missing systems? They're in the fucking records that we have them, and people kept saying we have them, but they're not here. No one would have 15 missing defected Xbox Ones. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. Also, the games are not even they're not in alphabetical order. When I was trying to search for games that people keep asking for, I was so lost. I was like, wait, so hold on, this is the PS4 section, right? What the fuck is this shit? Why is there 3DS games in here? And then I went to the Xbox section and there's some Nintendo Switch games there. Everything's all over the place. It was god-awful. It really was. I hated it. So when the district leader at the time say, oh, David, so do you want to be a manager here? I was like, no. Get me back there. I want to go back. I couldn't stand it. I told her I was like, listen, either I go back or I quit. That's how bad it was. I was this close to quit, to be honest. But I'm like, you know what? The other place, the commute was longer, but you know what? Fuck it. It's much easier than this. I survived hell. My god. And you know what? That was the thing too. My first day of working was during the Xbox One X launch day. My first day was the Xbox One X launch day. I couldn't believe it. You know, I guess it was my fault because before that, I had a day off. It was a Sunday. I should have went in there to, prepare for the worst, to brace for the worst, but I decided, you know what? I'll figure out everything when I get there Monday. So let me just relax, spend time with my family and all that stuff. I should have went in there on Sunday just to see how everything is. I guess that's my fault. I should have braced for it, but no. Okay, so the Xbox One X launch. So I was working with a game advisor and seasonal. Oh my god. So I was working almost a double. Almost. It was a very long one because we have to deal with the launch. Okay. Everyone has to take a break, of course. Oh wait, no, I don't think he was just a game advisor at the time. I think he was an SGA because he did have the keys. So yeah, it was an SGA and a game advisor. I'm sorry, not a seasonal. It would have been better if he was a seasonal, to be honest. But no, he was a game advisor. So, everyone has to take a break, of course. It's mandatory. If you don't take a break, then you get written up for it, and New York State laws and all that shit. I think everyone knows this. So at the time, it was dead. I think I took it around 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. It was dead. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take my dinner break. I'll be back within the hour. So I had the nasty ass pizza that was next door. Yeah, that pizza sucked. I never went back anyway. So that was and it was expensive too. So it was not worth it. So I was in the back, just resting, just waiting until the dinner break to be over. And once it's over, I came back outside. And then I decided to check out the drawers, just to make sure that we have enough for the Xbox One X launch. So the first thing I noticed once I opened up the drawer. The first thing I saw when I opened up the fucking cash drawer are a bunch of fake $100s and $50 bills. They're really fake. I didn't even have to test them to know they're fake. They were terribly photoshopped. Before I did a cash check, I checked the drawers right before I left for dinner. So we were good. I just wanted to check again after. And the first thing I saw are fake bills. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And they're like, oh, those are 50s and 100s. I'm like, does this look like a fucking real $100 bill to you? Who took this in? It was the game advisor. He's been working there for a month, I heard. And apparently, he's been working for retail for about 2 years. As a cashier. I was so furious because I have about $600 worth of fake bills. $600 of fake bills. We lost $600. I couldn't believe it. So I had no choice but to talk to the district leader about this shit. I was like, bad news. My game advisor took in fake bills. So yeah. She was really upset. She didn't fully blame me for it because I was on my break. I mean, technically, I'm not responsible for whatever happens in the store at the time because I have a senior game advisor there with the keys who should have been taking care of that shit. So yeah, $600 worth of fake bills. And you know what I was told? That because you have to make the deposit at the end of the night, so I felt like I had no choice but to negate it by $600, whatever the deposit's supposed to be. But they told me no, just add it into the deposit to the bank. I was like, are you sure? That doesn't sound right. They're like, we kind of have no choice. You have to do that. I was like, okay, if that's what you say. So I did what they asked. I put in the fake $600 bill along with the deposit. That's what the higher-ups told me. So can't do anything more than that. I don't like it. It's against what I think about. But again, that's what the higher-ups asked. My gut should have been negated by $600 because it is fucking fake. But yeah, so I did. Then we have the launch of the Xbox One X, which a lot of people were angry at me about because I told them that there's too many people here. We're going to close the doors for 5 minutes and then we're going to get everyone back and we're going to give your systems. It was only 5 minutes. They just have to be outside for 5 minutes so we could reorganize and keep a straight line. That's all people had to fucking do. That happened to every single launch that I was ever in. Okay? I was taught to do that. But for some reason, in this fucking GameStop, no one heard about that, so they called me an asshole for telling them, oh, you're leaving us in the fucking cold? I'm like, it's 5 minutes! And also, you're the one wearing a t-shirt in fucking 50-degree weather? It's your fucking fault! God. So I got chewed out for that. So the next day, I got blamed by the bank for giving in $600 worth of fake bills. I told them, listen, I had no choice. It was from the higher ups. They're like, well, you shouldn't have done that. I was like, again, had no choice. Can you please contact the higher ups then? So yeah, after that, I just gave up on that. Went back to the being just an assistant manager at that GameStop. And to be honest, it was a great thing too, because that GameStop where I worked, that was fucking hell. It had so many problems right after that. One employee stole about, I think, 4,000. No, the numbers keep getting mixed up. It's either $4,000 or lower of items and of cash and systems and games and all that stuff. He stole that much. I was so glad I didn't work there at the time. So the assistant manager at the time, she actually got promoted to store leader because the GameStop had no choice. She got fired for that because they thought she should have been on top of it. So after all this commotion, they decided to finally fix that store. I'm like, really? Really? We've been complaining to you guys to fix the store all this time, and now you're like, oh no, we got robbed. Okay, now we fixed the store. Bull fucking shit. This wouldn't have happened in the first place if the store got fixed in the first place. Apparently, there were 50 Xbox One X's missing or something like that. Again, the numbers just don't add up. So because of that issue, the district leader was let go. So we had a new district leader. So yeah, after that, I was still assistant manager at the store, and even though I liked it, I was like, you know what? I just want to give up the GameStop business. I didn't even like being a manager at the hellhole, and I kind of don't want to give it another shot. So I decided to just put in a month notice, just in case I change my mind, because usually that happened to me with Pizza Hut. I gave a month notice, but then something happened, so I'm like, you know what? I rescind it. I'm still working at Pizza Hut. But yeah, for GameStop, I gave a month notice, and then I left, and then I went to California, and then I came back, and I was like, they told me, hey, David, we need a bit of help, and you have some experience. I was like, okay, no problem. Here's the thing. I don't really give a shit that much about the GameStop policy, GameStop store policies and all that shit. So I'm in a don't give a fuck mode. They're like, okay. You get to, how about being a seasonal? I was like, perfect. But here's the thing too, because I made the people over there very happy because they know that I know a lot of the manager shit. So they're like, okay, so you know what we have to do, how we're doing it, the profits, the cost of labor and all that shit. So I was like, okay, no problem. Even though I could have gotten in trouble a couple times because technically I'm a seasonal, I'm not even supposed to be in the back. I'm not even supposed to do the manager things. I can't really trade in systems without people's help and stuff like that. But you know what? It's fine. I was a seasonal. I'm in don't give a fuck mode. And I just want to help the store. So I organize as best as I can. I clean up as best as I can. I fix things and just sell as much to customers. That's all I care about. Being a seasonal is like the easiest thing ever. Seriously, compared to me as an SGA, assistant store leader, and a store leader, seasonal is just a godsend. Pay is shit. I understand that. But you know what? It was fine. It's okay. And then after December, I'm done. I was officially done with GameStop. I'm never going back to work ever again. Unless it's for advertising. That's it. But other than that, no. I don't want to work in another retail GameStop store ever. Whew. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I was going to talk about the events that happen at each store that's very unique and weird, so I'll get into that. So the first store I worked at, the weird shit that happened. Okay. So there's this guy who I believe is a pedophile or a registered sex offender or something like that. He's kind of bald. He has like a long hair, like kind of like dark brown hair, except it's all gray. And he has this huge ass lump on his head. I didn't really know much about the guy. At the time, I knew he was troubled. And the thing is that he doesn't seem terrible. He just looks like, he just looks troubled. So he usually comes in asking about, I guess, driving games and all this stuff. I totally forgot. He has this genre of games that he's really interested in, but he always asks the same question: do you have the time? So we tell him the time, then he leaves. But it turns out that he goes to the GameStops around there, so it's I do see him quite often. I don't think he ever bought anything, but at the time I thought he was harmless. But then I heard a lot of things that he was a registered sex offender, so yeah, after that I haven't seen much of him, to be honest. But sometimes when I pass by one GameStop, I think I saw a glimpse of him. So yeah, there's that guy. And at the first GameStop, there's this, I would say he's a customer because his mother buys games from us. I don't know exactly how old he is, but we call him the Nintendo Switch guy. Because he's a little mentally disabled as well. I'm not sure if he's autistic, but I assume he is. But he calls us up every single day, sometimes maybe 6 or 7 times, asking about the Nintendo Switch. So he calls us up and say, "Oh hey, have you heard about the new handheld console called the Nintendo Switch? And yeah, you get to carry it around. It's a home console too. You get to play it on home and hook it up on the TV, but you can play it on the go as well." So he usually calls us up. And at first, I was annoyed with him, but after a while, he's kind of like evolving because I feel like he wants to talk with us, to be like his friends and stuff. And you know what? We're fine with that. Sometimes he calls us up during a busy time, so we usually tell him, "Oh, sorry, we can't talk right now. We'll call us later." And he usually understands that, so that's fine. But he has a habit of calling us a bit too much. So sometimes these conversations, he keeps throwing us up for a loop because usually he keeps just talking about the Nintendo Switch. But after that, he talks about other things that we didn't, that are not related to the Nintendo Switch. So he's like, "Oh, hey, have you heard about the new Grand Theft Auto 6? And we're like, "Wait, what? Grand Theft Auto 6? Oh, that's funny. No, I don't think they'll make it yet, buddy, because GTA Online is doing very well, and Rockstar doesn't even need to make another game." It's like, "Oh, I understand. So, how about the Nintendo Switch? What do you think it's gonna be like? I heard it's gonna be like a home console." So, every single conversation after that, he keeps throwing us up for a loop, and it just gets more entertaining. I understand if it sounds like we're making fun or taking advantage of a kid, but no, he's actually a nice kid. Again, I don't know exactly how old he is, but he is nice. And his mother is very nice too. And his mother, oh my God, bless her soul, she feels bad about her son calling us all the time. But it's fine, because he's honestly harmless. Really harmless. And you know what? She's a customer. It's fine. We're okay with it. But I remember the first time I saw him face to face, because I usually hear his voice, and then I finally see him face to face, and he's like, "Oh, hi, are you the guy I spoke to?" I was like, well, "Have we met? Have I heard? Have we talked before?" He's like, "Oh yeah, about the Nintendo Switch." I'm like, "You're that guy!" Oh man, it's great. I love it. So yeah, he's the guy. Oh man. But yeah, he's a harmless kid, so it's fine. What else? Okay, I think it's around the same month I first started working at GameStop. A car was on fire. In the middle of the parking lot, a car was ablaze. It was on fire. You know what the kicker was? It's 5 feet away from my car. I was worried for my fucking car because I'm like, "Oh shit, it's right next to a fucking burning car." It was not in the parking space right next to it. It was like the parking space right, it's next to the parking space next to the car, burning car. So I was worried for my life. But the problem is there were fire trucks and firefighters over there. I cannot pass them. That's the problem. Thankfully, my car was not on fire. And you know what the funny thing was? I had to open the next day, and I parked where my car was parked that night. And then I looked down. It was just burnt, just ash and burnt rubber on that parking space. And the funny thing was too is that the guy who owned that car just went to go to CVS to pick up his medication, and he came out. He's like, "My car's on fire!" Oh my god, that was fucking hilarious. And there was another incident too. We call this the Pokemon guy. Oh my god, all this over a stuffed fucking Pokemon plushie. It was me and a coworker, and we got a weird phone call, and he decided to put it on speaker because it was incredibly absurd. So the guy was blaming my coworker for selling the plushie that he apparently was supposed to be holding, even though we had no hold requests. No hold requests. No one called us to put a hold on it. Nothing. These are Pokemon plushies that are just available for sale. And we only had a few of them. Of course they would sell out. So right after that, we got a phone call saying, "Oh, how come you didn't hold one for me? I requested one." We're like, we didn't see any requests, to be honest. No one held these. No one pre-ordered these. No one did anything with these. We did what we were told, and we sold them like normal. But this guy went on and on and on about, "Listen, honey, I'm a very famous person, okay? I'm supposed to get that plushie, okay? Because I am famous." Oh my god. This fucking asshole, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, to be honest, because the voice sounded feminine, so I couldn't really judge. But yeah, this asshole decided to call the higher-ups, and the higher-ups contacted us back by saying why we're doing a terrible job with this customer. I'm like, what? What do you mean terrible job? This person's an asshole for not even placing a hold in the first place and is blaming us for selling it? No, fuck you. I heard that the guy was compensated anyway, so fuck that asshole. Oh boy. One of the workers who became a store leader of a store, he got fired for one of the stupidest things ever. He got fired for eating defected candy. What it was is that GameStops used to sell candy. I don't know why. I thought it was stupid as well. GameStop shouldn't sell food. Okay, not even candy. So they had these like gummy bears and sour drops and all that shit. So apparently some kids keep opening up the bags. Understandable. So the thing is, what we're supposed to do with that is, okay, if they're open, we have to defect them. To be honest, I would have preferred if they're cheap, we could just buy it and just eat it ourselves. But you know what? Defect them, whatever. But the thing is that if you defect the candy, you're not supposed to eat it. You're supposed to staple it or put it in a Ziploc bag or something like that and send it out to be defected to the warehouse and shit. You're not supposed to eat it. He did. And it's not like he was caught by anyone besides the coworker he was with, but that coworker blackmailed him, showed him the footage, showed the higher-ups the footage, and he got fired. So yes, that's one of the stupidest things to get fired over. Candy. Now we know. And it's a shame because, yes, he did a stupid thing. But you know what? At the time, he helped me out a lot. He actually got me better at doing GameStop goals. So, yes, he did a stupid thing, but I don't fully blame him because he helped me out. He was a nice guy. I haven't talked to him since, and I heard he's doing better. And I heard that he's a bit shitty to some of his friends and stuff like that. But you know what? At that time, he was fine. He did a stupid thing. Very, very stupid thing, but he's fine. And I don't think there's any other incidents besides that, besides me almost getting fired and all that stuff. So when I got transferred to the second store, one of the worst things I ever did, and I should have gotten written up for it, and I shouldn't gotten fired, and I don't blame them if they did fire me. I accidentally, one night, I accidentally left the safe open. I did a double. I opened and closed. I was fucking tired. I don't know what came over me that time. I was working with a coworker too. I was doing the deposits. I was counting the money. I put the money in the safe. and I left the safe open. I don't know what I was thinking. I was tired. That's all I remembered. I was tired and I wanted to go home. It was a fucking long day. So when I came back to for the early afternoon shift, I had to the store leader at the time show me the security footage telling me I left the safe open. And yeah, it was open the entire time. Thankfully, we weren't robbed. And here's the thing too, everyone would understand if I tried to close the safe and it just didn't fully close at one point. Everyone would have understood that. But no, it was wide open. So what he should have done is either fired me or given us a first and final warning. And to me and my coworker. And the thing is, my coworker is not at fault. I'm the one who dealt with the money. Yes, he's also an SGA, but it wasn't his fault. I was in charge of that. So I even told him, listen, give me the punishment then. He doesn't deserve it. Because that was all me. But he said that, but he worked with you. He's the same rank as you, and he should have known as well. But I was like, listen, it's my fault. I was in charge of that. I told him I would take care of it, so that's my fault. So yeah, I should have gotten fired for that. Because that's one of the stupidest things I ever done. But again, I was incredibly tired. I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to sleep. I didn't even want to think about anything else. So that's one of the stupidest things I did. What else? There's really not many horror stories at the second location I worked at. It's mostly at the one I was a store leader of. So that's basically it. After that, there were a couple scandals. There were, right after that. Oh, man. One GameStop leader, which I really liked, who I really liked. He stole money. And I couldn't believe it. And the thing is that I understood why he did it. Because, you know, I used to drop him off at the train station. And he's a very nice guy. He helped me out a lot too. So when I heard news about this, and this was when I left, that he stole money from the deposits, I was like, oh no, why would he ever do that? That's like one of the... It's incredibly stupid because you're trying to steal money from GameStop? How you gonna... It's a deposit too, because that's on record. If the bank is supposed to have $1,500, then the bank is supposed to have $1,500. If it's zero, then they know something's up. They have to question people. So yeah, he stole, and that broke my heart. And I haven't contacted him ever since that time, so I wouldn't know exactly what his thoughts were about that, but he went to jail. And it's a shame too, because his wife was suffering from a disease at the time, man. Yeah, I assume he had money issues at the time. So I understood why he stole, but that doesn't make it right, and it's a shame. Great guy. He was a great guy. I just couldn't believe that he did that. And that's the thing too about GameStop, actually. There are nice people, and then they're pushed to the edge where they do horrible things for some reason. Very stupid things. I'm not sure if that's just GameStop in general, or the work environment, or the location, or whatever, or the store policies, or anything like that. But yeah, I guess you could say that happens to any retail store, to any job, to be honest, because there will be people who you think are nice, but they do something either stupid or horrible or criminal or something like that. So I guess that's just life. But yeah, I couldn't believe that though. What else? I think that's basically it for GameStop. Not much has... Oh, Level Up. I got robbed. So we have this thing called Level Up where you have to keep doing it, and you have to, you know, find out information about each game. Then you take a quiz, and if you get enough points or finish the quiz, then you get a chance to win a specific game or system and stuff like that. I've been in the top like 5 or top 10 for the longest time. I've been doing Level Up as soon as they come out. You know what they repay me with? They even tell me, what's your preferred system of choice? I'm a PlayStation 4 guy. I don't have an Xbox One. I don't have a Switch. I don't have a 3DS. I don't have anything else. I barely play on PC. PlayStation 4. I finally won something from a level up. My coworkers won Final Fantasy 15 for free. They won Gears of War for free, or Halo for free, or yeah, everyone got all this awesome games. What did I fucking get? A free copy of Splatoon. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. A free copy of ARMS for the Nintendo Switch, a system that I don't fucking have. I worked on Level Up all the fucking time, and that's what they repay me with. Not Final Fantasy 15, not any Square Enix game, not any PlayStation 4 game. No. They decide to give me a game for a system I don't have, and I wasn't even thinking about buying in the fucking first place. ARMS. The packaging for the digital code is very nice though. But ARMS. I was so angry. I found out about this during my lunch break. I was like, GameStop never sends anything nice to me. I wonder what this is. Oh, congratulations on completing the level up. I was like, I win something, yes! And then I pull it out, it's like, ARMS. Who wants it? I gave it to my store leader at the time. He had a Nintendo Switch and he saved money actually. So it's fine. Ah, man. Level Up sucked. You work so hard on something and you keep doing it and you hope to get repaid with something that is something you would like, but no. ARMS. I heard the game's a lot of fun though, and I'm not knocking the Nintendo Switch, it's just, that sucks. Trying to think if there's anything about GameStop that I would like to share. I think I pretty much mentioned everything, the bad things about the... Oh! Okay, so, customer issues. There was one customer. Here's the thing. It was the second store I worked at. It was snowing. I was the opener. Oh my god. So, the snow is deep, but I was able to get there. It took me about an hour to walk through the snow to get to the store, which I honestly don't mind because I like walking. And you know what? Walking in the snow when when there's not a lot of traffic and people, it's actually kind of refreshing. A little chilly, yes. Sometimes it's annoying when the snow keeps blasting my face, but you know what? It's fine. I walked through the snow. I finally got there. So I told the district leader at the time, and I told her, hey, I'm finally here, so I get to open the store now. She's like, okay, good. I got some bad news, though. I was like, what do you mean? We're gonna close the store in a couple hours. I was like, I walked through the snow for an hour and you tell me that we're gonna close in a couple hours? She felt horrible for me, so yeah. Actually, she did give me a bit of compensation for that, though. She did, she gave me a bit for, like, gas money or something like that. So at least that's fine. And the thing is that you're supposed to work a minimum of 4 hours anyway, so I think they did that too. Because they're like, listen, you walked through the snow, we're gonna give you more hours for that. So at least I got compensated in a way. But still, that was fucking annoying. Just to walk through the snow for an hour and then get it over there just to open the store for 2 hours. Oh my god. And the good news is my coworker, my best buddy, is opening the store at his location too. And he's like, I couldn't believe this shit. I just got the phone call saying we have to close the store in about 2 hours after getting over here. He lives around that area, so that's fine. So he could drive easily. But for me, I had to walk because no one plowed the snow. So, when it's time to close up, the power went out for a split second, which fucked over the cash registers. So it was so hard for me to close the cash registers. Because it kept saying computer error, computer error, computer error. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I just want to close. It should have been 0 because no one came in. Not a single person came in and bought something. So it should have been 0. The deposit should have been 0. Everything should have been fine. But no, the computer's fucked up. So I had to call technical support. Oh my god. I spent about 15 minutes with technical support. And then I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna stay longer just to fix this shit. Because this is ridiculous. Okay, we had no business. And the fact that the computer fucking shorted out at the time, no, I'm not dealing with that. So I told them, listen, I'm done. You guys could fix it in the morning if you want, but I'm done. Because I'm opening the next day anyway. I told them, listen, I'm gonna call you up in the morning and we're gonna fix this shit. But for now, I'm done. So I hung up on the technician, was gonna close the store. My pops came over there to pick me up because the snow has gotten a bit lighter. And then there's this family of, there's this woman and 2 kids. They said they want to buy something. I told them, I'm sorry, we're closed. And she's like, oh, you couldn't have told me that? I was like, what are you talking about? We called you earlier and you said you were open. I was like, listen, we had 4 phone calls during the 2 hours I was here. If you're one of those 4, I specifically said, we're open for now, but we will be closing within 2 hours. And I gave her the time too. I think at the time, let's see, I opened the store a little bit, I opened the store a little late. So I opened it at like 10:20 or something like that. So yeah, it was 12:20 at the time. I told them, yeah, at around 12 o'clock, we should be closing up. You guys didn't come in time. Let's see, it took me about 15 minutes to talk with the technician, then I was done. So I closed at around 12:20, and then 15 minutes, so that's 12:35. Yeah, she had plenty of time to get her ass over here. Oh my god. Fucking annoying bitch. And she was angry at me by saying, oh, we had to walk through the snow to get here. Do you know how hard it was for us to get here? I was like, do you know how hard it is for me to get here? I walked a mile through the snow, lady. So she was angry at me. I was angry at her. My father was waiting in the car. I was like, listen, if you have a problem with me, you can call customer support. Tell them David Kang told you to call them saying that, oh, it's his fault that he told you what time we closed. And it's snowing. Good day. So I left. Didn't give a fucking care. So I just wanted to leave. Her husband came in the next day to apologize. Satisfaction, man. Satisfaction. Oh, man. That fucking bitch. I'm sorry. Do you know how hard it is for us to walk all the way over here? I'm like, do you know how hard it is for me to walk all the way over here? It took me an hour. I was angry. Oh my god, people just don't. Yeah, people. Alright, so that's basically it for GameStop. If there's any other GameStop stories I didn't mention, I'll talk about it in the future. But for now, I think that's it. I talked about the things that I didn't like about GameStop, the bad customers. But all I can say is this. It's a good experience. And the employees I work with, the most of them, are great. And that's the thing about GameStop. No matter how much you hate the prices, no matter how much you hate about not getting enough for your trades, and it depends on where you are as well, the employees are trying to help. They are. Again, it depends on so many factors, but the employees I work with, they're great. They like to help people. And the thing with me is, I don't like complaints. I don't want people to walk out feeling unsatisfied and want to come back and yell in my face. I don't want to hear from the higher up saying I did a bad job with a customer. I don't want to see bad reviews. I'm not that kind of guy. So no matter what I do, I just smile through the bullshit and help people even if I don't like them. Because that's the job. You have to suck it up, basically. But the thing is, we do like helping people. Even the stupid assholes. So again, it depends on where you work. And the 4 places I worked at, well, 3 out of the 4 places I worked at, I like it. I like the experience there. And I like the people. And I do like the customers. It's just one store that just made my life a living hell. Oh, actually, I will talk about the last thing because I don't think I talked about this. There's a loophole for pre-owned, which a lot of people don't fully take advantage of. But I'll tell you this. So, hold on to the receipt if you get a pre-owned game. That's one. If you get a pre-owned game, again, the policy usually is if you get the pre-owned game, you have a week to get your money back, to return it to get your money back, or 30 days store credit. Not a lot of people know about this, so I'll tell you. The best thing is to get a pre-owned game, which costs as close to $60. Any pre-owned game that you're interested in, at least, that costs that high. So 50 or 60 bucks, around there. You buy that game. Return it before the 30th day, along with the receipt. Exchange it for a different game around that price. And keep doing that per month. I had one customer who saved so much money by doing that. And all you had to do was spend about 55 bucks to play a pre-owned game per month for no additional cost. Isn't that fucking genius? You know what the problem is? No one takes advantage of that shit. And it pisses me off. I take advantage of that shit. The employees do. But the customers, only a few smart ones take advantage of it. And that's the thing too. If you really like playing, if you're a pure gamer, you usually could beat a game within the 30 days anyway. It depends. If it's an RPG and stuff like that, they'll definitely take longer. But if it's like sports games, shooting games and all that stuff, 1 month, you're probably done. So yeah, buy a pre-owned game that's as expensive as possible and just keep exchanging it for another expensive pre-owned game that just came out. Great deal. So that's why GameStop heard about this, and they try to make this into like kind of like a GameStop rental program. I forgot what it was called. I think it's Pro Play, Power Play, or something like that. Where for I think the cost was $50 per year or something like that, and you get to play the game or something. I don't know. You rent out the game, basically, any pre-owned game. And if you like it, you keep it. Like that. Or if you don't like it, return it for another one, and you could just keep playing that. So that sounded like a good deal. It got fucked over on day one. I don't know exactly what happened. I heard it's just a glitch, but GameStop has been hyping this for about a month. So we were prepared for it. We took level ups for it. And on day one, they told us to not do it because the pricing was wrong. They never brought that up again. They never brought it up again. They spent time and money on this, and it got fucked in day one. Not even a couple hours passed, and they said, we cannot sell that to any customers. Oh my god. Because the pricing, again, it's like 50 or 60 bucks or something like that, but it didn't show that price. It was showing some different pricing. So, yeah, it didn't make sense. It didn't work, so they gave up on it. But listen, that shouldn't stop anyone. If you're worried about pre-owned, and you're worried you won't like the game, you have that power. Again, buy a pre-owned game, play it, and return it before the 30th day with the receipt and exchange it for another pre-owned game. And just keep doing that. There's no penalty. Okay? That's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching, guys. I am old now. Happy birthday to me. And I'll see you next time.